glad you're back! Oh! The largest meteorite and largest piece of iron ever found is the Hoba meteorite. It was discovered in 1920 in Namibia by a farmer who was plowing his field. The meteorite weighs 66 tons and measures 8.9 feet long and 8.9 feet wide and about 3 feet thick. Experts estimate that it fell to Earth about 80,000 years ago. Cows, sheep, and goats all have a tough dental pad below their top lip instead of front teeth. This dental arrangement helps ruminants gather great quantities of grass and fibrous plants. When the Krakatoa volcano in Indonesia erupted in 1883, the sound it made could be heard thousands of miles away in Australia and the island of Rodriguez. It was the loudest sound ever recorded on the planet. The microscopic tardigrade, also known as water bear or moss piglet, is one of the world's toughest creatures. It can go a decade without water and can withstand temperatures as low as minus 459 degrees Fahrenheit and as high as 304 degrees Fahrenheit. Adult rats can fit through a hole as small as a quarter or a gap less than 1 inch wide. This is how rats can infest your home without your knowledge. According to researchers at the National Hansen's Disease Programs in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the armadillo is one of the few mammals that harbor the bacteria that causes leprosy. There is a musical road in Lancaster, California. It was created as a TV ad for Honda. The road is cut into grooves that when traveling about 50 miles per hour, it will actually play William Tell's Overture. From 1956 to 1958, Chrysler offered a record player in its new cars called the Highway Hi-Fi. But it was short-lived because they had a tendency to, break. Author, American sex therapist, and media personality Dr. Ruth was trained as a sniper when she was just 16 years old by the underground Jewish military organization Haganah in Israel. Crocodiles can hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours if they need to. The colder the water, the longer that they can stay under because a cold crocodile uses less energy and oxygen than a warm one. The 1925 released film Ben-Hur was the most expensive silent film ever made, costing between $4 to $6 million at that time. Actress Margaret Hamilton, who is most remembered for her scary portrayal of the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz and terrifying children everywhere, was actually a kindergarten teacher before she got into acting. In Spain and France, the tooth fairy is a mouse. Known as the La Bonne Petite Souris, the tiny mouse will procure teeth left under pillows, replacing them with either cash or sweets. In 1985, Lynette Woodard became the first woman to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. Since then, she has played in the WNBA and has been inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame and Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. If you have delusions where you think you're a wolf or another wild animal, you suffer from what's called lycanthropy. India has 23 official languages. While Hindi is the official language of the central government in India, with English as a provisional official sub-language, individual state legislatures are free to adopt any regional language as the official language of that state. There's an annual Sidewalk egg frying contest on the 4th of July in Oatman, Arizona. Contestants are given 15 minutes to fry 2 eggs using only solar power. They can use mirrors, magnifying glasses, and aluminum to help speed up the process. Pablo Picasso's full name was, brace yourself for this, Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Crispin Crispiniano Maria Remedios de la Santissima Trinidad Ruiz Picasso. The Library of Congress is the largest library in the world. It has more than 162 million items, over 838 miles of bookshelves, more than 38 million books and print materials, 3.6 million recordings, 14 million photos, 5.5 million maps, 7.1 million pieces of sheet music, and 70 million manuscripts. The Philippines hangs their flag upside down when it's at war. This actually caused great confusion and tension in 2010 when the flag was displayed upside down behind the president at the time when he met with President Obama and other leaders of the Assembly of Southeast Asian Nations. Everyone kind of thought it was an act of war. Baby hedgehogs are born with quills, but they are soft and flexible. In the early days of the Indy 500, most of the cars had 2 seats, one for the driver and one for the onboard mechanic. The mechanic monitored the gauges, made repairs, and sometimes would even massage the driver's arms and neck. The onboard mechanic was mandatory from 1912 to 1922, and then again from 1930 to 1937. On November 14, 1969, the Apollo 12 was struck by lightning just 36 seconds after liftoff, and moments later it was struck again. The second strike tore through the ship and wiped out many of its electrical systems. One of the flight controllers remembered how to switch the spacecraft's signaling conditioning equipment to auxiliary, and the Apollo 12 was able to actually continue on to successfully land on the moon. Actress Megan Fox suffers from papyrophobia, which is the fear of dry paper. In the 16th century up until the 1960s, Egyptian mummies were actually ground up and used to produce a brown paint color called mummy brown. The powder was mixed with white pitch and myrrh to produce a rich brown pigment. During the Vietnam War, US fighter jets would drop their external fuel tanks over Vietnam when they were empty or the pilot needed more maneuverability. Vietnamese farmers would then repurpose them and use them as canoes. A 68-year-old grandmother from West Wales had her car followed and swarmed for 2 days by 20,000 bees. They were actually trying to rescue their queen bee, which unbeknownst to her had hitched a ride in her Mitsubishi Outlander. Beekeepers were brought in to safely remove them. The hood ornament on a Rolls-Royce car is actually called the Spirit of Ecstasy. In 1974, Gerber Baby Products tried marketing singles by Gerber, which were meals in a jar like creamed beef and beef burgundy. Marketing was aimed to college students and young adults. But believe it or not, the product failed. In 1965, Mattel released Slumber Party Barbie. Apparently, one of her Slumber Party essentials was a pink scale that was permanently set to 110 pounds. Makoto Igarashi from Tokyo developed the Hizamakura lap pillow, which is a cushion shaped like a woman's legs wearing a miniskirt that you can lay your head down on for maternal feelings. During World War II, Germany used guns that had a curved barrel device that was clamped onto the end of an MP-44 rifle that allowed soldiers to shoot over obstacles without exposing themselves to return fire. Sea scallops have about 60 eyes. They can be a bright blue color and help the scallop detect light, dark, and motion. Think about that next time you order them at a restaurant. Boxer Muhammad Ali's star on the Walk of Fame is on the wall, not on the pavement, because he didn't want the name of Muhammad to be stepped on. Writer and director Oliver Stone received a Purple Heart and Bronze Star for his services in the Vietnam War. Breastfed babies poop more than formula-fed babies because breast milk contains immunoglobulins, substances produced by the body's immune system, which works like a natural laxative. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, as of 2014, 1 in 68 children, or more specifically 1 in 42 boys and 1 in 189 girls, has autism spectrum disorder, which includes a wide range of symptoms, skills, and different levels of disability. In 2014, scientists discovered the earliest evidence of human footprints. These were outside of Africa on the Norfolk coast in the east of England. The footprints were found on the shores of Happisburgh and were more than 800,000 years old. Every single spring, Sweetwater, Texas has a rattlesnake roundup. For 3 days, snake hunters bring in their catches, which end up being thousands of snakes, for which they are paid $5 for every pound. The Junior Chamber of Commerce began the tradition back in 1958 to address the overpopulation of snakes. In Indonesia, whole smoked bats are considered a delicacy. When important Vikings died, they were put into a burial ship along with their clothes and jewelry, where they were either buried or set on fire and pushed out to sea. In Victorian times, children as young as 5 years old were used as chimney sweeps. They were sent up the chimney, some of them as narrow as 12 inches, to clean out soot and debris. And if they got stuck, the master chimney sweeper would light a fire to encourage them to continue working. But some of them just got stuck and died of suffocation. Between 1347 and 1350, the bubonic plague plague, also known as Black Death, killed 20 million people in Europe. That was 30% of the continent's population at the time. Balut is a national delicacy in the Philippines. It's a fertilized duck egg or duck embryo that is boiled and eaten from the shell. The bootlace worm is the largest species of ribbon worm. They can grow up to 197 feet in length, which is longer than a blue whale. The proper medical term for burping or belching is eructation. On March 26, 1997, 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult committed mass suicide because they believed that their souls would be transported to a spaceship that was following the Hale-Bopp comet. The Satre Maui Indians initiate their boys at the age of 13 by making them wear gloves made of bullet ants for 10 minutes. They are repeatedly bitten, which is incredibly painful, but must not cry out if they want to be declared a man. The Komodo dragon is the national animal of Indonesia. The distance from Mars to the Sun is 128,437,425 miles at its closest point, and 154,845,701 miles at its furthest. And now you know! But thank you guys so much for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure to leave a like on it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't yet. Don't forget, I'm going to have a brand new video for you come Monday at 12 West Coast time, 3 Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you come by then. Have a great weekend. I'll see you then.